Oh,
What up, everyone? 안녕하세요. Bonjour. Hola. Um, it's your host, Xerona with an X, and um, my co-host, which is
Brian. Hey guys.
Brian with a B. Yeah, he's a B, a bad B. Uh, Brian, how have you been though? What is life up to this week?
Mm, so in Florida, it's spring break for
Mm-hmm.
university. So just been enjoying the break, not doing anything really. Enjoying my time with the family, obviously, spending time with them, doing that. And there is a couple things I need to start preparing for classes next week, like presentations.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, pretty good. Uh, been feeling okay. There was definitely moments of like a little bit of sadness is a little bit of a wrong word, but I don't know. I guess those times where you feel like a little sad and then those hints of like loneliness that always like hits everyone, I guess.
True, true, true,
I
true,
kind of had
true.
that this week, but overall I'm getting better, doing fine. Yeah, just taking care of myself a little bit. I was sick again for like a couple of days. Well, overall, it wasn't like bad. I didn't get a fever or anything, but my throat.
Mm.
But I'm getting over it. So
Maybe hay fever?
yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get a fever.
Oh, okay, I get it.
But yeah, overall, I think I'm doing okay, getting better. So, what about you, Zerona?
This week has been hard for me, I think. So the current bank froze all my account. So I couldn't use my account. And I went to the bank and they told me because like I had to get like a new visa. So probably they closed they canceled my old visa, like the old alien card and gave me a new alien card, right? But then she called me and she was like, oh, there was like someone reported your account for an illegal transaction. I was like, what? I was like, what? Illegal? Honey, I got maximum 200 in my bank account. Okay. If I'm doing something illegal, I'm doing it wrong. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, you have $400 in your account. I was like, it's like my friend sent it to me. And she was like, yeah, but that it's like illegal. So I don't know what's going on. And I was just scared because I was like, what if like I don't know, like they're like I have money in my account and I was just scared like what if they kick me out because I don't know like what was going on. But in my mind I was like and then I called like everyone I knew and they're like, okay, how much was in your account? I was like, what, 400? How much they sent to you? I was like 300. And we're like, so all my church members, even the lawyer in my church was like, do you mean like $400 or $400,000? I was like, $400. Okay, if I had $400,000, honey's not gonna be here. Okay, honey's
Yeah.
gonna be in the Bahamas right now. I'm gonna be right in Bahamas. I'm gonna be going. I'll be in Mexico. I'll be.
Mhm.
But that's only $400. $400. You know, and if people know like $400 is never enough for people's rent, right? So I was just like so bummed out and just scared. I was just I don't know what's going on. And here, you don't really in Korea, how to say, you're not really given like an opportunity to kind of like speak or kind of have a lawyer kind of thing. It's just like, this is it, this is it. And so whether you're innocent or not, you don't really have well, depend on the case though, but like sometimes you don't really have that as a Wiggle as a foreigner. But I don't want to put anyone's bad idea. Korea is a good place to stay for, everyone has
Mm.
situations and stuff like that. So don't use that against Korea and anything. But for me, I was just experiencing like a lot of headaches and I got my new alien card today and I was just like, I don't know, I have to go to the bank and the bank. So the thing is that the bank tells me a different thing and tells the person who sent money to me as like a gift or whatever, something different. So at first she told me it's because of my visa And then she was telling me it was something illegal. And then she was telling me that someone lost 5 million, like 5 billion won. That's like $5 million, and it's tracked to my account. So I'm like, yo, man, what y'all saying? Okay, if somebody mistakenly
Yeah, it's not
that
your
give me
fault.
like, you someone comment, someone gave me, you know, $200,000.
Hmm.
It's a blessing. Okay, that is not illegal. That is luck. Okay, you can. But the thing is that I know who sent me $100 as a friend who wanted to give graduation. I used to help her out and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I was like, yo, man, I don't know what you guys want me to do. So I couldn't sleep at a point in time. This whole week, I couldn't. I was just like, because I can't do anything, man. I can't even transfer money. I can't use my card, and I have no cash with me, and I have rent due and stuff like that. So at a point in time, I just started to laugh. I was just like, damn, this would be another Netflix episode in my life. Yeah, I need to make a
For
Netflix
sure.
episode because I was just like,
It's definitely
I don't
worthy of it, for sure.
know. But pray for me that nothing happens. We go to and just, see what happens. But
No, definitely.
I don't know, it's just crazy. Yeah, like it was just crazy for me. I was like, an illegal transaction. And they were checking all my transaction. If you check my transaction, what you see is like the maximum I've ever sent to anyone was $10. And then what I had in my account before the 400 was $8. And then 400, I was like, really? Like $400? Really? It was $400,000. Oh my God. And someone sent that account to me. I don't care whether it's illegal or not. As long as I was not involved in the situation, I'm going to the Bahamas. Okay. That is Jesus giving me a blessing. And if the lawyer asks me, I'll say, God, read your Bible. It says in the Bible, Genesis 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, right? Right? Right?
Mhm.
So we shall not perish. Okay. It says, if you're a child of God, you shall you shall have everything in the world.
Mhm.
So if someone sent me $400,000, which was not the case, but if someone did, blame
Enjoy it.
it on Jesus. Who are you to I'll tell the lawyer, like, who you be? Jesus can come strike you dead. So don't play with his child, but I was just trying to keep a positive upbeat about it and just praying about it. Like, yeah, man, it's crazy how I'm in this situation right now. I can't even, my parents can't send me money. I can't do anything right now. So, as I said, if anybody wants to help a lost Xerona, donations or wait, even if you give me the donations, I cannot even get it.
True. They would have to like actually send it like mail.
Can you do that?
Yeah. Put it like in an envelope or something.
But like, what if I? Because what? Like, imagine you're a mailman, right? And someone sent like $5,000.
But you wouldn't just send money, you would have it like in an envelope or in a
I know, but you got to check. Like the DHL, they check what you're sending, right?
they
Like the
do?
DHL, they do. Of course, they do what they check what you're sending if you're sending something illegal, and if it's going to be in
Yes,
an
that's true.
envelope in this month.
Yes, that's
True,
true.
true. So what if you're a DHL man, right? Uh-huh.
I mean, but
And
okay, but if somebody did send you, they would let you know, and if you didn't get it, you would obviously know that something happened in between. So you can.
but like that's the thing, it's going to take another time, like days and weeks and months, and I cannot just sue DHL because bitch is broke.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I got no
yeah,
situation.
yeah. It's
I'll
like,
put my address. I'll put my address on the comment. So if some of
yo,
y'all
if we get
wanna,
really popular, we could do what's it called? A PO box
yeah,
or whatever they do.
yeah. Go fund Xerona.
Go funds around. But
Yeah,
no, definitely
yeah,
keep us
just
updated for sure. I didn't even know that.
yeah,
I wish you would have told
yeah.
me.
It just happened this week. I was just like, they just canceled my account this on Monday, and
Mm.
I was just like, what? I can't use anything. Even my Kakao Pay is like locked, and I can't with my Kakao Pay. That's what I use for my iCloud and my Google storage, right? Because in Korea, you cannot use PayPal. Even the Kakao Pay took me like I had to go to the bank to let Kakao Pay let me have to go through all the procedure for Kakao Pay for them to allow me use Kakao Pay to pay for my iCloud.
Mm.
So now they locked everything. So I just like, and probably my friend said it's gonna take a month or 6 weeks. I was like, 6 weeks for investigating for a friend that sent me $400. Okay, honey, if it was like $4,000, it's gonna take a year, you know.
For real.
But um, I'm
No,
just
that's
praying
real.
that they don't see anything, and because if they're gonna check my transaction, I think they're gonna be, like, have you ever like, like you like if I was a banker and I saw my own transaction, I'll feel so sorry for myself.
Oh yeah. That's
Like,
heavy.
because they checked my transaction, right? And she was telling me, your transaction kind of seem, I'm like, it seems what, broke? And she was like, oh, you had $8 in your account and now you have $400 in your account. I was like, yeah, because a friend sent it to me. And she's like, and now I was like, yeah, yeah, go on, go on. You can see I had $8 in my account. Someone sent me $400 as a friend for helping out. And then you can't, what do you want to say? What do you say? I'm broke. Like how can an $8 go to 4,048? I don't even know what to say, man. I was just like, yeah, y'all don't want me to be rich, but it's impossible, okay? Because Xerona is expensive. So I'm just trying to put everything in prayer and also trying to like be upbeat about it because I couldn't sleep the whole of today actually, like the whole of this week. I couldn't sleep because I was just like worried and just like I don't know what these people are gonna say about me. And they even froze my friend's account too. So she's like, what? And they're like, guys, bring proof that you're gonna send her money. I was like, proof of what? And I bring proof that she's your friend. I was like, do I bring her?
That's really
I
weird.
was like, I don't know what's going on and everything. And
Yeah.
so we came like, why did they say? I was like, dude, I helped her with like moving stuff and stuff like that. I know that, and it's my graduation. So, you know, she just like sent me a good thing and she's like, thank you, Xerona, for helping me. Like, yeah, man. So I was like, I don't know. So Monday again, I'm just gonna go with my new alien card and just see what happens. Basically, I think the woman too was confused because at first when I went there, sorry, I'm talking about my situation a lot, but when I went there, she was like, "Oh, your alien card is like it shows that you're not in Korea. Like your alien card is like this discharged, like canceled." And then she was like, "Oh, bring a new alien card if you get a new alien card because here it says that you're not meant to be in Korea." And then 2 hours later, she was talking about illegal transaction. I'm like, honey, is it that is it the alien card or is it the transaction? Because I don't know what y'all talking about, because and then the third time she called me, she was talking about how someone lost five billion won, that's like $5 million, and it's traced to Mac. I was like, confused. I was like, is it my alien card or is it that the money was illegal that my friend sent to me? Or is it that someone, I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. You know what I mean? They're just giving different type of stories and different type of stories to my friend. So
Mm.
Monday, I was just hoping I'll just go to a branch for foreigners and just give them my alien card and see what they say. Maybe probably they haven't reactivated my account yet. And I did change my passport. So probably due to the change of everything, um, they
Mm.
they think they actually think that I'm not the person. Like they think maybe somebody, you know what I mean? Because I was in the system,
Mm.
I'm not in Korea, but due to my visa process and stuff, so that can be the situation. But just pray for me, guys. So yeah, basically that's my situation. But as I said, I hope it gets better. I hope they find that, and I hope if somebody okay gives me $400,000 by mistake, they better not. If I said that 400 that same day, I'm taking everything.
Yeah, you're
I'm going to
leaving.
Bahamas. What? I mean, but it depends. Like, wait, it depends. Like, if the money was like really, really illegal money, okay, I won't touch it. But if I don't know what the money is from, what doesn't kill you? What you
Doesn't kill you
don't
make you richer in this case?
could you? What you don't know make you happier. That's the new
Gotcha.
Karen
That's a new
Clarkson.
one.
That's the new set. What you don't know makes you happier. But yeah, as I said, it is. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about genuine.
Huh?
Genuine. Yeah,
Genuine?
genuine. Yeah, we've been being genuine, right?
Genuine.
Genuine, genuine. Is that not the pronunciation?
It's genuine. Yeah.
But like genuine also too, right?
I never heard it like that. Unless I'm like,
Wait,
don't know.
let's ask Google.
Google won't
I
know.
don't know. Wait, what is how to pronounce genuine? Maybe because I did learn the British English.
Mm.
So probably that is how to pronounce genuine in the British way. How do you spell genuine now?
Geniuen, I think. E?
Wait,
Oh,
let's
I
see.
don't know. I think I'm confused now. I'm pretty sure if you write it like how I said,
If it
you'll
is a
get
genuine Michelangelo
genuine.
drawing, it will sell for millions.
Genuine.
American.
Genuine
That's American.
Michelangelo drawing. If it is a
I'm pretty sure it's the
if it
same.
is a genuine Michael.
Oh, genuine. Okay, so that's my vote. So genuine.
Yeah. I was like, genuine. I've
Sorry.
never heard that. That sounds
I was
like
like
a
genuine.
like people bored in like 5 years from now. Gen U or something.
Well, I'm just trying to say, like, we're just gonna be talking about genuine, and yeah, we're just gonna be seeing what it is to be like a very genuine person. So if you look at our podcast, we're always really talking about, you know, Xerona is very genuine, and because of how genuine she is, she's always that kind of made us like that. Sorry for that, but like we're just gonna ask, like, people are wondering, like, we always talk about that, we always say that word, right? So,
Hmm.
I came up like, do they really understand what we mean by that, or do we have the same idea of what it means to be genuine? So, um this podcast is just going to be more about what it is to be genuine, and like what we think being genuine is, and why we think it's important, and the pros and cons. It's more of a little bit deep topic, but not too serious topic. But we just wanted to let you guys know a little bit about why it's important for me and Brian, why that word, or why that characteristics, or why that adjective, is very important, excuse me, for both of us. So I'm gonna kick up with Brian. What do you think being genuine is?
Hmm. So for me, this is an awesome topic, by the way, because I think a lot of people either don't really know like what being genuine is, or they're
Right.
confused, or uh they think they know it, but they don't actually maybe know.
Mm-hmm.
To me, being genuine is a couple things, actually. It's not just one single thing that you can point out to. Being
Right.
genuine, it's all about being yourself at all times in
Mm.
any situation that you're in, no matter the good or bad. You're always the same
Mm-hmm.
you. Um,
Oh.
but
Mm-hmm.
also in terms of a person that actually cares about the situation or the person, like
Mm-hmm.
the other person. That's to me like ultimate thing about being genuine is like actually caring about someone that, a friend or a loved one or a family member, anything like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the main thing, like actually having a sense of like wanting to be there for that person or wanting to take care of that person or to be around when they're down or to, hang out to do things. So like that's someone genuine when I think about it.
Mm,
To me, it's always
mm,
of being yourself in terms of just don't lie about how you either feel some way or don't like something or you like this thing but you're hiding it. Like just be yourself at all times. Like be who you are because in those specific moments, those are when you're going to find people that are actual genuine because they actually care about you in the way that you actually are than trying to fake someone that you're not or
true.
someone that you're not. So I always like tell people like just be you. Like sure you might not have like a lot of friends, but in life you're not gonna have a lot of friends. Like
True.
the older you get, you'll start to realize like there's only a few people that you'll be around and want to have around.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like many times I've told you before, like growing up,
Mm-hmm.
felt that having more friends was good because
True.
especially in high school, everyone was like, oh yeah, being in groups or like being collect like knowing a lot of people was like being popular and things like that. So I kind of thought the same. But as time went on, in university and then work and everything, like you start to realize like the list of people that you actually like care about and really think about, very few. And those are people that
Excuse me.
you want to like spend time with, actually think about, care like how they're doing. And those are the people that just matter at the end of the day. And you should always kind of have them in mind and, obviously um, figure out who those people are. And I think in many ways you can kind of figure out who they are with things like being genuine in terms of when you're down, do they reach out to you? Do they care like what's happening? When good times, do they, or is it only like good times where they're like, oh, hey, nice. But when you're like down and you say something, you don't never hear
They
from
don't
them.
dare.
Time goes by and it's like nothing. Like those are people that aren't really genuine. That's the main definition for me. Like um many times it's interesting because I also contribute this to it's interesting how people don't really say how they're feeling at times, right?
Mm,
In terms of like how they're feeling and they don't either share it or things like that. But when someone else does, you always get the feedback of like, oh, um, this he's dealing with something. He's like having trouble or he needs like super help, but like help in like in a bad way, like oh he's like doing terrible or something like that. He's like depressed or something. Like I don't know why people tend to think that one way or the other. Like I feel like
mm,
people were more honest about like how they're feeling at that exact moment because we all feel like that. We all can sometimes feel lonely or a little bit of sadness and wanting to be around more, do things more. Like that's normal. It's being human, I think, in many regards. But I think people have been afraid to like share it just because of maybe some things that they hear. And I think it's obviously true because when you share things, people tend to say things that is like, what? Like, no, I'm not feeling that way at all. Like many times for me, like I've said many times where I'm not afraid to be like, oh, like I'm feeling sad today, or like it's been like a week of like, oh, like I wish I had someone around, someone to like, hang out to do something with. Like I've always been that type of person to be honest about that. But and I'm kind of happy I am that way because it lifts like all that emotion that I have inside me that people sometimes keep
mm,
can make them feel worse later on. I use this as a way to like express myself away and like get all that stress out. I think it's a good way for me. But the thing I've seen is what I've been saying, like, oh, Brian's depressed. He's dealing with something. Like, why are you thinking like that? Oh, what's happening in his I don't know, his home, like family, like is they treating him bad or something? I've heard stuff like that. Like I'm like, what? Like just for me sharing something like that's normal in all of us, that's kind of it's just interesting how people kind of think of that. But I think in those
mm,
moments, people that actually reach out and be like, "Hey, is everything good? You okay?" in those specific moments are people that are super genuine, that actually think about you when you're either down or, and just maybe in a bad spot. Like, I always told myself when I was little to always be someone that when any sign of like somebody struggling in terms of like feeling sad or anything, I always want to be the first one to, hey, is everything all right? Are you good? Like, I'm here if you need like someone to talk with. Like, I'm always a person that wants to be available in terms of either just listening or being someone there to like talk with someone. I've never been afraid of being that kind of person because that's the kind of person I want to be and someone to, you know, be there for everyone just because I value that as something that I want to not only be for my life and how I want to like treat everything in my life, but also the people around me to hopefully have that same thing. So I think another thing about being genuine is being around people that are similar to how you may either think or like feel about that. Because like if I feel this way and the people around me aren't, I don't think it's a way of actually being genuine just because like it feels like they're not have that same like either thinking or mindset that I have, and it could be like hard for either one of us because we might not be the same kind of person at all. So I think that's a little bit hard in terms of getting either closer with someone or maybe in those situations it might be a little awkward or it might be a little like weird to like reach out and things like that. So I think it's important to just be yourself at all times. That's being genuine. Just you. Just don't be anyone you're not. Be who you are, how you think, how you feel, things that you like doing, like say them, enjoy them, do them. Like just be you. Like you're here on this earth for let's say 70 years, right? Or maybe a little bit less, like the average. I think it's somewhere around there. But like just do things that you love doing. Do things that you love. You don't have a long time in this life, so you enjoy it. And those things that you enjoy, you'll start to realize, oh, I'm really happy in doing that. But then you'll start to see other people that are very similar and like doing those things also. And those people end up becoming friends that you can be like, oh, that's someone that actually cares about me because we're similar in a lot of ways, but he cares about things that I like doing. And then, so you start noticing things like that. And then obviously the main thing, the most important thing is like, yeah, just being there for that person when they actually need someone. Not just saying, oh yeah, I'll be there for you when you need me, and then later on they don't not there. Like that happens a lot. Like, oh yeah, I'll be a friend
Right.
or something, and then yeah, a year, 2 years later, oh, it's been so long. How you been? And they like this, or they disappear and never talk to you again. That happens a lot, especially
Right.
at the beginning of university. It was kind of like, oh yeah, let's become friends in class or whatever, and then like a year later, it's like, oh, I never even saw that guy again or whatever. So it's like, I don't know. It's very interesting, and I think the more we get into the conversation, I think we can start talking about like actually seeing it, like actually
Mm,
seeing someone that's actually genuine. I think there's come a point where just being around people, you can notice small things that can make you feel like, oh yeah, that's someone that is actually that way. I think because I think you'll probably say the same. Like as time goes on and more people you meet, you can start seeing like small little details in people that like, oh,
true.
okay, that kind of person. So that's I think the main things that come to my mind when I think about like someone genuine or
Genuine.
someone that I want to be around. So
Mm,
what about you?
right. Well, I was looking at dictionary, and according to Collins English Dictionary,
Mm,
a genuine person is someone who is honest, truthful, and sincere in the way they live and in their relationship with other people.
yeah.
An example of a genuine, she shows a genuine interest in our work, in our work. So it's someone who, yeah, like for
Actually
me,
cares.
I think being genuine is um kind of having the same, not like the same, but I feel like it's the way you treat me, I treat you should be similar for me. Because it depends. As I said, genuine kind of depends on the different people. Like some people do value because like how to say, there's some people who don't really say things. They say a little
Mm,
bit of things. I feel like in a relationship with someone, everyone is different. But I feel like if it's not a give and take, it's not genuine. If I'm giving 50% and you're giving 50%, it's genuine. If I'm giving 10% and giving 10%, it's genuine to me. I feel like that. But if I'm giving you 100 and you're only giving me 50, I'm like, nah, man, that's not genuine. Because as I said, like even me too, like there's some people who I've been friends with in college for a long time. I was very like, if you know me in university, I'm very like, hi to everyone, everyone is my friend kind of thing. But um it comes to a time where like I will give my 100 to someone and they don't even give me like even up to 10% back. And I came to college at the age of 17, 18, 19, 20. At the age of 21, I started to realize I just like people who I call friends, I just like, oh, I know that person. Because it's more of like I was willing to take a step for you and all of that. And you're not even willing to even do half of it, you know? It's not for me, I feel like the only non-genuine but good relationship is between God and your family, and that is when you're young, right? Your parents show you do your parents need you to kind of meet them a little bit halfway. Like if they're paying for your tuition or if they're paying for you, they expect you to get like good behavior and good grades, right? That's also a genuine relationship because it's a give and take. The only relationship that I know it's not genuine but it's still a good relationship is between me and God, because I cannot give God anything, right? But I feel like in a relationship when there's always 100% giving and there's no 100 and you're not getting that 100% back, it's not genuine. And growing up, I realized, funny enough, I realized that like 2 weeks ago. But I have some friends that I'm just like I've done so much things for, you know. And I'm not saying they didn't do anything back for me, but it was more of like I did this for them and that for them. And not only that for them, but like I've been there when they needed me. And then Kapchagi, like suddenly that person starts to draw back. Even I saw a friend today, I didn't see her for a long time. I was like, hi. And she's like, oh, hi. And that's it. Just giving me like straightforward answers. And I don't know whether she's angry about what happened 2 years ago, because there are some people who hold stuff about what happened, like things. And so I was just like, oh, okay. Like, usually I'll be really sad at that time. But me, it's just more of like, okay, you know, I always tell myself, and I always tell people too, because for me, when I have friends, I always feel like everyone should be like me, like, or everyone is treat, like the do unto others as you want them to do unto you.
for
That's
sure.
being genuine, right? For me, because that's how I grew up as. Like, I grew up, if you want someone to treat you nicely, you have to treat that person
And
nicely.
they're not nice enough for sure. Yeah.
And then they will treat you nicely. That was genuine to me growing up. That's how the word was imprinted in me. But growing up, I noticed not everyone has that. Not everyone is gonna do that. Some people are just to take. Some people don't even realize that they're taking and they're not giving. Right. So for me, if I find someone that's not genuine, I I don't just like avoid them completely, except they're like really bad. But I just kind of withdraw myself away from them
For
because
sure.
I always tell myself like even if I lose one person or I lose one friend, the world has 8 billion people.
Yeah.
And out of the 8 billion people, at least I'm going to find 5 people that are genuine. That's really
Yeah.
all I need, right? Because it's okay to go out with people, like eat with them, talk things to them, blah, blah. but like giving your 100% relationship or going overboard for a person that is not genuine, for me, it's just more of like a waste of time and a waste of energy.
Yeah.
So that's what we think being genuine is to people. Do you think what are the pros and cons about being genuine, Brian? Do you think they're like, let's start with the cons. Like, what is the disadvantage about being genuine?
That's an interesting question. That's a good one. I give you that. Very good. Definitely, definitely the first thing that comes to mind, being taken advantage of. Um,
Mm,
just because I'm looking at this in terms of if you are someone that considers yourself genuine, the cons of being that is yeah being taken advantage of in terms of like you said like giving your full effort to someone and
right.
like there and actually giving them attention. Then like when you're in time of need or need someone around, you don't get any, and they just use
Mm,
you in terms of oh they know you are a nice person or want to be there for people, so they use that intention to help them. So that's definitely, I think, the main thing. And then obviously things from that can be like, oh, you'll realize that and then be sad about it and then like have to deal with that on your own. Um, so it's kind of interesting. Other cons I would maybe say is just it's a hard one to think about cons. Because I think being genuine is overall something that I think everyone should be or try to be just because like that's the best way of like being yourself, but also being someone that actually is decent, like a decent human being, someone that's like a good person. So there's not too many like cons, I would say. I think maybe some people would consider them as people that can be what I've heard sometimes is like being fake
mm,
in terms of like not actually them being fake, but people like, oh, look at how good they are. They're like definitely just trying to give off this personality or give off this thing and like they don't actually care when you're like not with anyone or things like that. So I think people I think try to really hammer you in both ways in terms of like trying to
mm,
take advantage of you, but also if
mm.
you're that way, some people might look at you being like, oh, that's he's being completely fake, like he's lying, like he doesn't actually care. He's just doing it because to look good or to be good, you know? So I think those are probably the main two things. Like you get a lot of that, I think. Especially nowadays, I feel like I think it's people have mm, more to say in terms of like because of like how many like things that are available for them to say things. Obviously, you know, like social media and just being around people, cell phones and everything. People can like record anything and be like, "Oh yeah, look at that
No,
person."
right, right.
Yeah. You know, so it's always like um interesting to see that. But I think those are probably the two like main cons that like really come to mind. I'm pretty sure there's more if I think about it, but those are two like that really could hit someone.
Struck in my head.
It's like, yeah, because it
Mm,
when you hear that, it makes you feel bad. Just because like
mm,
it makes you start like wondering, am I really faking it? Do I actually care? And
mm,
that should never be the case. Like if you want to be a good person and like want to be there for people, that's great. Why are you like telling someone that's bad or he's lying about it? Like if he actually wants to be that way, then let him be that way because that's great. I wish people were like that more. Like
oh,
not
excuse me. Mm,
like nice or they
right.
care. They don't, you know, just do their own thing. They don't actually care about the people around them or like you see that a lot. So uh, it's an interesting way how, you know, some people can really like put people down even for like no reason, I think, in some cases. So I think those are probably the two
Okay.
main.
Disadvantages.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, last thing I kind of wanted to think about the things like that you said about like a give and take. I
Mm,
have like like a good example, no, not examples, but things like even me recently, like in Korea, I have many good stories of like Jeju last week that we had on the podcast. But
Mm-mm.
it's like you and a lot of other friends that are like, oh, those are people that are like great. I've had experiences where like, oh, I became friends with someone and like, oh, they don't really care. Like I try to be around, I try to say, hey, or let's do something, and it was never like actually like there or wanted to like be around. So it's quite interesting, like having both sides where you get those two feelings and respect. So it
Right.
too, like you in Korea, like it's always gonna be around. So it's actually good that you said it because I think it's pretty right on what you said about like give and take. It's
Mm.
also that I think also just I think at the end of the day it's just like yeah, just being there for people and actually caring. Because if you care about someone, you're gonna like give to them what you can. You know,
Right.
I think that overall that was very good. But do you
Yeah.
have any more negatives you can think about? Because
I think negative, from my perspective, that people think that being sincere is being naive.
ah
They always, because I remember when I was naive in my first year. But for me, I was just like, I always thought like there's some things I'd be like, "Oh, I'm not feeling good today, like people would look at me like, Xerona, I don't say that. Like you're so naive. Which sometimes at a point in time when I growing up, I was like, yeah, there's some things I have to keep to myself. But it's like people use that, excuse me, as a sign of weakness for you,
oh
that
yeah
you're naive.
yeah
And even till now, like I'll say something and people look at me like, oh, why did you say? I was like, look, of course, there's some things I'm not going to say everything that's in my mind to offend anybody or anything, but I'll be like, yo, why do we, even like a friend was telling me, like, when I went stargating, like a blind date kind of thing, like I was just telling someone something, I was just being like genuine. Like, of course, I'm not going to tell the person about my life, but I was just being genuine, like, oh, I like anime, this is what I do,
yeah
and then people are like, I remember they gave me a dating advice. They said never um this was not even the first date I was telling him. Like we met each other and we knew each other for like 2 weeks, right? And they were always telling me like I don't have to tell them everything. I have to keep everything. I have to hide everything first. And then when we get to date and get to know each other, then I start to tell him little by little about myself. And then I was like, okay, that makes sense. But at the same time, like I feel like if I met someone, um, like just telling the person I like anime, is it bad? Be like, yeah, you have to let him know like a month or 2 weeks after, or 3 weeks after. You don't just tell him everything. You have to make him tell someone. And I was just like, why is this like a rule? Why is it like I cannot, of course, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying when you meet someone, you're going to tell them about your whole life. Mm-mm. Okay, now that is just being weird. But um, it's just like just telling them like about me, like just kind of showing myself, not everything about myself, but just showing, okay, this is who I am. I'm a girl who likes anime. I like doing this. This is what I like enjoying doing, and let him say what he likes doing. But I noticed that people use that as like a weakness of, oh, this girl is too naive,
hmm
kind of thing. So they use it as too naive, or they use it as this girl is too clingy, or this girl is too childish. And I tell people like, if I'm just being honest with you, because I just want you to let you know who I am. Because if you want me, I told people, if you want me to be serious, Xerona, I can be serious, Xerona, you know. But imagine me, you meet me for a month and I'm serious, and then in the second month I'm different. I feel like that. I feel like I catfished you. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I I lied to you, or
yeah
as I said, being like I feel like, because if someone did that to me, I'll be like, why are you like, so first 1 month you're this, and then the second month we're dating, we're like that. Even in marriage too, it's like that. So I always tell people like, maybe I will not really share a lot, but the part where you're like, oh, I have to hold myself or pretend to be this so I can get this. To me, it doesn't really balance well in my stomach. Maybe that's why I don't have a boyfriend. But probably I always tell people like they think being genuine is a sign of like is a weakness of being naive or being childish. And some people think they can use that, and they do use that against you too, as like a weakness side of it. But at the same time, I always tell people like you want someone genuine, but you yourself don't want to accept a genuine person. And you yourself don't really need to be genuine. So I tell people like if you really want a genuine friend or if you really want a good friend, if you cannot take the first step or if you cannot accept it, don't expect it. So that's why I told someone like, look, if you don't, because I do talk a lot and I do play a lot and I do make a lot of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she found that really annoying. She was like, I said, look, okay, if you don't want Xerona that does that, you want the serious Xerona, I'm okay to be serious. Like I can be really serious person. Like at a point, like I'm gonna be very quiet and I'll just not talk and I'll not smile. That was me. Actually, my roommate, I went for first time. I was like that for a whole month. And trust me, that is a little bit scary, right? It could be a little bit scary, but I'm like, if you want me to be something, I'll be it. I can be that for you. But I told her, like, I don't mind being the like serious Xerona who doesn't mean or the quiet Xerona, but that's not just me. And and um sorry, I got an email from a professor. And when I'm like that, how to say, it's hard for me to pretend to be somebody. You know what I mean? Because I am serious, but not all the time I want to be serious.
Yeah.
And I am funny. People think I'm always like I'm funny, but like if you know me, you know that there's sometimes that I'm serious or there's sometimes that I'm just like quiet, you know. So I'm just telling someone if you want me to be just show one side of myself, I don't mind doing that for you. But in my mind, I told her like I don't mind being that for you, but don't expect us to be friends because you cannot take the two sides of me, and I can't take the two sides of you. Because she switches her mood like that. Like she's angry and she does it, that. Like she got mood swing. And I'm like tolerating those mood swing. And then you can't just tolerate me being happy or me just making jokes and stuff because you think it's annoying. I told her, just social distance yourself from me. If you see me, you want to say hi, say hi. If you don't want to say hi, thank you. Next. You know, Ariana Grande already sang that song for me. So that's just how it is. So that's just how I tell people like being genuine is kind of seen as a weakness of being naive, but the advantage of it is being genuine. If you know being genuine, as I said, also you gotta be it also comes with confidence. It also comes with being trustworthy. It also comes with being honest. It also comes with being strong. Because people who are genuine are very strong, right? And like for me, I was genuine, but I in high school and even in university, I was trying to make people like me a lot.
Yeah.
So I would kind of change myself.
Yep. Like what I say.
But at this age 21, I was just like, you know what? Changing myself is very, what's the word? It's
Exhausting.
very difficult. It's very overwhelming. I don't know how actors act, man, because I've been acting like someone that I was not for like an hour. I'm like, damn, I need training. But at the same time, I tell people like, whether you think I'm loud, whether you think that's your problem, but it comes with that confidence. If you know, if people say they're like, why are you so confident? I'm like, it's not like I'm confident, just like I just feel like I should say it. It comes with confidence, it comes with strength. And it also comes with like people, and if you ever notice, people who are genuine, they kind of have like, they're nice, they're really fun to be with, but there are boundaries they have. And when someone is genuine and they have boundaries, and when you overstep that boundaries, they scary. Genuine people are scary. Like, you know what I mean? Like they are they're strong and they have this confidence. So even if you try to mess with them, they're gonna be like you how to say, even if you try to bring them back, they're just gonna spring up back. You know what I mean? You're trying to bring them down, but they spring up back. So I think that is a disadvantage of it, but it also has some advantages of it. So that's my personal well, this is not fact. This is just our opinion, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure, for
this
sure.
is not a factual thing.
Yeah.
The next question is, how do you know someone is genuine? Hmm. How you know someone is genuine?
We can piggy up back off to like certain things. Oh, but I definitely wanted to talk a little bit of what you said for sure.
Oh, sure, sure.
Um, Definitely you do get that sense of like people saying, "Oh, he's like naive." But in terms of like
Mm.
that, is it wrong to be naive in terms of like wanting to be yourself and wanting the other person to be yourself? Like, I don't think that's a wrong thing to want or feel, you know? It's like it's just you being honest in terms of like who you are and how you feel. Like in terms of those senses that you talked about in like uh blind dates or things like that. Like yeah, you get the sense of like people telling you don't do that, don't do this, don't be yourself like here, be more uh like silent, listen more or something like that. Usually people tell you
Right.
like, but why? Like at the end of the day, if they don't like who I am, like me regularly, like normal, then why would I be with them? Because that's not how I'm going to be like all the time, most of the time, at home or doing something. Like if I can't be myself in that moment, then what's the point of like trying later on? Because they'll, like you said, see you at one point, oh, you're this way, like, oh, he's kind of interesting, but then later on, you actually yourself, and they're like, oh, wow, you're completely different. Like, what's the point of like having something like that at the end when it's like just kind of be yourself. Like sure you can see a little bit of maybe a little bit of naivety just because like people will be like, oh, like you're so naive and like look at the world like how like either demanding or like pressurized it is and you'll get like trampled or like people would like again like I said push on you or like overstep their boundaries in terms of like
Mm,
demanding things from you or like
mm,
taking advantage of you like things like that can happen. So it's just, making sure you're aware of those certain things and then just being like, okay. Like, but overall, I don't think I see them as bad things. It's just, just being yourself and then advantages, great. I also think all of them are completely true. Like, yeah, you have to be strong-willed just because, like, it's hard. Like, it's hard wanting to be around for everyone. It's tiring. It's because you have to put like effort into actually like listening to like people to be there like when they need you to hang out to do all these different things to care to actually that like puts pressure on not only you physically if you're like doing things but mentally it's
mm.
you have to be like really strong mentally and really thinking and really cautious and it's tough. Like people don't think it's tough, but it's actually tough. Like being that kind of
True,
person, wanting to be that kind of person. And like you
true.
said, I think there is a boundary where it's like, okay, if I know this person is taking advantage of me, all right, they're gonna like feel it. Either they're gonna tell you like, yo, you're taking advantage of me, I don't want that, and they'll be like forceful, like you said, or they'll be
Mm,
like the kind where it's like they'll be gone and they don't care about like you anymore just because like they know like you don't care about them, So it's like those are like really good things. And yeah, like being good people, strong willed, all those things really apply. And then the question of seeing it. So this is where I was getting at before.
mm.
Like you said, as time went on, you kind of just, or me at least, like you wanted to be around more people or like have more people, like become friends with people. Cause that's, I think, like you said, like in high school that time, like the more people you knew, the more popular and more interesting you
Right, 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 right.
which is like nonsense. At the end of the day, looking back at that time, like wanting to be like popular and things like that was really like dumb. But
Long time.
yeah, oh yeah, a long time. But looking back at the time, like yeah, I can definitely agree. Like I wanted the same. I always wanted to be friendly, be a friend to everyone that I met. And
Mm,
I think as time went on, it turned into like you where it's like I'm friendly with everyone and nice to everyone, but I
right.
don't see people as like a friend if I meet them and like maybe do something with. I don't see them immediately as like a friend. I always tell everyone this, like when I meet someone, you're an acquaintance. And that's like how we are. And if there actually seems to be like an actual care about me in some way and like there is like a little give and take, like you said, like actually genuineness there, like some a little bit, then that's the person now like, okay, you're a friend. And then if more starts to appear, then it's like, okay, you're my friend. Like I said, like to me, nowadays I have probably less than like the fingers in my hands of like people that actually say like really, really, really like friends, right? Friends that would like count them for everything. Like
Mm,
life, I don't think you'll have more than that. Like it's really hard to like find people kind of like that, you know. And if you have more that actually like that and actually are, then that's great because you've met like awesome people. But I think most of us in our life will probably have around that much. Um, and to see it. So here's kind of things that for me I look for. When I meet someone, it's always important of situations. So what I mean by that is take it you're at like university or something and you meet someone in a class, for example. I always the first things I always notice is if we are talking either for like a like let's say we get in a group or something like that and like we're part of a group and that's how we have to talk, or we just like talked in class because like something came up and something was interesting. Those are two separate situations for me that you can like notice right off the bat. um
mm,
to me, being part of like a group, there's a sense of okay, there's something else that we have to take care of, like a project or whatever, in the sense of like, okay, us hanging out and doing something or whatever, there's always a sense of that being part of the main reason why you're doing that. So I can always keep that in the back of my head, right? But in terms of if we're just like in class and there's an interaction there, that's
mm,
a normal way of like either getting close to someone and like communicating because that's usually how people are like in reality in terms of like walking around and just being around each other. In that sense,
mm,
that feels more real and interactive to me. Like if you're just in a class and you interact with someone. And I'll give a good example of Hugh. So we were in that class, like I said many times before, like the Excel thing. But then as time went on, there was a sense of like, oh, hey, like we went up to each other, oh, well, how do we do this in class or something like that. But it was always like a nice like interaction. And our first interaction was like just being genuine in the class, like nothing to do with like groups or projects. So after that, there was a sense of like, okay, you always get this little sense of wanting to know more. Oh,
mm,
that's kind of interesting. Let me say, hey. And that's when like I think we were like exiting class and they were like, oh hey, what's up? How's it going? Like, what's your name? What are you studying? About where you from? Blah, blah. That's how we kind of started our conversation. And luckily,
mm, mm,
in terms of like we were really close by of like where we lived, so we were able to like walk. But then during those times, this is where more specifically you can notice when people talk and the things that they say, you can immediately tell exactly how they feel inside or exactly the way that they
I want
actually
to feel.
or actually care about sharing. You can
Mm,
tell that like in an instant. And what I mean by that is like when you're in a conversation with someone, there are times where they can say things and you're like, that person
what
doesn't
the
know anything. saying right now. Like he's just blabbering around, or he's just like not caring, or like he's making things up. Like you can after a time like talking with people, you notice small things like that. And
Mm,
the thing, and I'll share with you, when we were walking, there was moments where you shared your story about like Korea and like how you're dealing. And in that exact moment, I'm like, all right, this person is sharing something like that. A moment where we're just like first getting to know each other. So that's one thing that you look at, like, oh, we're just like here and like we just met, basically, kind of. And then we're talking and like they were able to share something like that and like be comfortable and actually like care about the other person and being there in that
mm,
moment, listening to that, you can feel that sense of that feeling that they had in that moment, or the feeling of wanting to be heard, or the feeling of wanting to, just have someone around to be there in that moment. You can get
mm,
all that sense like when you speak to someone that actually like cares about what they say or say the things that they say. So in those moments, like I knew from the moment you said that, I was like, okay, this person actually like cares about a genuine like conversation at least. This is someone I had to like get to know better. And then as time went on, we got to know each other really well. And then as time went on, oh, Zerona's just gonna be herself no matter what. Like I could tell her whatever. I can be like, yo, like that's really weird what you just said. And she's like, yeah, I know. And she'll laugh or something and like do her own thing. Like that's someone who knows exactly who they are and what they're all about. And in those moments, you're like, okay, I can see that that's the person that's, no matter what situation, I feel like Verona is always going to be herself, whether it's like in a good situation where she's can be like funny, loud, and enjoyable, or in those situations where, yeah, you see Zerona can be someone very strong-willed and like, yo, like leave me alone, like because we have that strong will
mm, mm, mm.
feel those things. Um, I think it's interesting just because like maybe when you're just starting to like gain friends and stuff, you don't notice things like that because you just want,
Mm, mm,
so you
mm,
don't,
mm,
either it's things that they say or the things that they want to do or who they are. You don't notice small things just because like you don't really care. You just want to be around someone or like want more friends and don't really like care about the aspect. But as time goes on, you'll really start if you hear people like that's another thing I think is very underrated. Listening.
mm.
I think that goes away. That goes a long way.
It
The more
does.
the more you start to understand all these small things that I'm like saying right now is like, oh, like interesting that they said that, or oh, what was that he just said, or something like you'll start to hear people better and like understand like the words that they're saying. You can feel that it comes from here, that it comes from
Mm,
heart. You
inside.
you can hear that immediately the moment they speak. And I don't think I
Mm,
noticed. I was like, whatever, it's just like, all right, make a friend
mm,
here.
mm,
See ya.
mm. Right, 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 right,
But then
right.
as time went on, I'm like, man, I don't really have people that actually care about me and like want to spend time with me. And I was like, all right, something I have to like give in terms of like, am I doing something wrong? So I kind of thought to myself, like, let me become someone who can find people that actually care. And what I did was really
Mm,
actually listening more, to be
mm,
someone
mm,
when I'm in a conversation, I pay attention to words of like how they feel, how they're saying it, the things that they do say, different aspects of
mm,
it in terms of like, oh, that could have been personal, but they shared it with me. So that's, something that me and that person have, now that not a lot others maybe have,
mm. True.
things. So I think it's very important to mm, have all these different aspects. Like you'll as time goes on, you'll really start to
You
see,
understand?
yeah, just listen to people and like see how they are, just really pay attention. Like just like take your time and listen to conversations, and you'll really start to see like that person is who they are and like how they feel exactly, like what they are dealing with or like saying.
Mm.
Person, you can tell immediately because if they like it or they're doing something they enjoy, you can tell by the way they
The way they're doing.
yeah,
Okay.
expression that they have, the joy that's from them, the eagerness that's there. You notice things like that. And if they're not, who they are and things like that, you notice small details of like, oh, the way he said that doesn't
Just
make me feel
sense, right?
like it makes sense. So it's just like, yeah, just pay small attention to detail. Listen. That's the main thing. Listen to people. I think it goes a long way. And like one thing I've learned in business is silence. And what I mean by silence, you're in conversations and people need someone.
Mm.
There are times where they just want to be heard, right? And they expect someone to have the answer for them. And
Mm.
when you're in that conversation with them, they'll expect you, oh yeah, they'll tell you, oh, this option and this option. What should I do? And they'll expect you to say something. The most awesome thing that I've noticed is using this technique of silence in terms of like just in those moments when they're down, you go to them. It's like, hey, what's wrong? Right? And you just like let
Mm.
them, and then they'll give the options or like what they're dealing with. And if you remain silent, the person will start to realize and be like, I know what I should do. They'll start thinking like their own self and like being actually conscious of like the decision that they're making. And they're like,
Mm. Mm.
thinking about it now, I should have done this and this and this and this and that. Like it makes a person really adjust themselves and really pay attention.
Mm.
So I think that's a very sneaky like technique that not a lot of people is just silence and just listening. Those are very good things to learn and understand. And
Right.
one thing to the last thing I kind of want to say is I think I've gotten to the point of really understanding or getting to maybe know who's genuine is I've gotten to meet a lot of people luckily. Gotten to meet a lot
Mm.
of the places I've traveled to, university, schools, activities, sports, all those different things. So I met a lot of people in terms of everything, in all aspects, culture, different
Mm.
countries,
Right, right, right.
these different like people. And but at the end of the day, no matter where someone is from or the different, uh, maybe expressions or culture or experience or anything that they have, the moment they speak and actually share things, you can immediately tell. It's just have those little small details, pay attention to small details, and you really see like someone that actually cares about what they say, how they feel. You'll really notice that. It goes on really like a long way because once you notice those things, you'll be like, oh, okay, that's someone that could become someone important. And
Mm.
I was lucky to do that many, many times. I know a lot of people in Korea that I think I consider very like that. And obviously, you turned out to be one, and look at how we're doing now, our own podcast for sure. So it's been, awesome. But you have to also not be afraid of taking that step, going
Mm.
actually like, hey, like, tell me a little bit about yourself, or let's become friends and give me that chance. There has to be like a chance there. But
Mm.
those are the main things that come to mind of like noticing it. Just listen, pay attention. You'll see it. Like, trust me, you'll definitely notice.
Maybe. Yeah, true, true, true. Because for me too, I don't even know when someone is genuine or not. Because probably because I do talk a lot.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
you do
Yeah,
take up the conversation. I'm like,
I do take out the conversation too. But like also sometimes it depends that when someone is going through a lot or going through a lot of complaint, I would still listen to you, you know. And if someone asks, what should I do? I'll be like, look, I want you to think about this. I
Yeah.
want you to think about that and stuff like that. But for me, I don't really know if someone is now I'm starting to know. So like now I understand like if I'm with friends that I know, I talk a lot. But if I meet someone and I'm like, well, how are you? And I just notice that I'm giving all and the person's not giving so I'll just be like, I just want to try to match your own energy. That's just my way. And also like being genuine, I also know that there's something about being genuine. Like I as it actually backfired on me because I was being genuine and I said something. I was like, I don't really like this teacher. Like I said, oh, I don't like what this teacher is doing. And that person told the other people and told the teacher that I said I hate that teacher. So people do twist your words when you're being genuine or when you're like saying something real. But at the same time, I always tell people like it's okay to express what you feel at the moment. But I also do advise like don't really say everything. Don't like give out your first of all, don't give out your personal information or give out your personal life story to someone. You have to know how you can you for like for example, if I say, oh, I like anime, that I feel like there's nothing bad about it. Or today I feel so sad, or dude, I had the same problem as you and it really hurt me. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to say things like that. But I think some things that might be a little bit offensive or might be a little bit uh that it might lead you to trouble. I feel like probably it's better just keep it. I feel like
And like
like
what exactly?
like I don't know because I don't know how to say like you just have to be from my experience, I'm just a little bit careful what I say to people now. Like you're genuine, like I said, for example, if it's about me, I'm gonna say about like my situation, about my money situation. I'm gonna tell you like
Yeah,
this is what I'm
me
feeling,
too.
this is it.
Yeah.
But um if it's gonna lead, there's some things that people say, like for example, like they might say bad things about Korea or something that's a
Mm,
lie about Korea. And that can also implicate them, because the internet is whatever you post on the internet, it it can never be deleted. You know what I mean? So I always tell people there's a difference between being genuine and being a blabbermouth and being
sure, for sure.
just rude. There's some people that are just rude. Like they say that some of them do say the truth, but I tell people like there's a way you say some things. Like
For
if you
sure.
don't like something, I won't be like, I'll be like, yo, okay, look, we understand it's like, you know what I mean? Like there's a way you kind of let's not sugarcoat it, but like you
There's
give it in a
always there's always a term of respect there. There's
yeah,
always.
you gotta,
There's always
like for
respect.
example,
For sure.
okay, let's say for example, I don't like Brian's face, right? For example. And I am like, dude, you're so I cannot say that. You know what I mean? I'll be like, yeah. So I
Oh
you
my
say, oh,
God.
you know what I mean? Like, all do you don't all with all respect, um, no
Yo, that came out
disrespect,
of nowhere. I appreciate it.
you know. I don't like your face, you know what I mean? But if, like, oh, I don't like your face, you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it's like,
oh
right,
my.
no offense. I'm just using this as an example, you know what I mean? Like it's not
Hopefully, like an example that's not true. I would hope.
yeah, an example that is definitely not true. But yeah, so but yeah, that's what I was telling people. Like, there's a difference between being rude, being genuine, and being a blabbermouth. I'm in the middle of blabbermouth and being genuine. I'm not gonna lie.
But
But
in your case, if I can go to you, you talk a lot, but the things that you say always come off genuine. Always come off
mm,
like that's just how you are, who you are.
mm,
Never a time where like I listen to you and I'm like, okay, she's just saying like whatever, and it makes no sense, or like you're either
mm,
trying to just be you and have an enjoyable moment, or to be serious and like be who you are. Like there's never a sense where I got the sense of like, oh, like she's just talking just to talk. I never really got that sense from you like at all,
mm.
knowing spending time with
Kenna gets that from me a lot.
Oh,
She's like Xerona, but like the thing is that she enjoys my gossip. So, because I got a lot of tea. Okay, I serve tea, I serve coffee, I even serve lemonade. Mm.
lemonade.
So yeah. So yeah, I always tell people there's even being genuine, being rude, and just being a blabbermouth. And don't be rude to people.
For
Okay,
sure.
so
Why? Why be rude?
I hate you.
Like you don't
Oh,
have to like someone, but
you
respect
don't
always
have
has to be
to
there.
like.
Yeah, respect. For sure.
Do I know you, honey? Did we meet? Like, let me tell you what happened. So there's this blind Atushi man. He can't see. Okay, he blind. Okay, and then he mistakenly touched somebody because he was like trying to get a seat, and he was using the stick, and so he mistakenly touched someone, and this girl like just like mushed his hand like in a very rude way and was like, ah shit like that. I was like if it was happened to me, if that happened to me, I'll be like, okay, this guy is a blind guy. Whether I don't know whether he's blind because at the same time I also understand maybe he's pretending to be blind or not, but at that situation, I'm like, this guy is a blind guy. I won't take it too personal, I feel like.
Huh.
I won't, but I'll just be like, okay, like look at this space or sit down here because I feel like he's not doing it on purpose, right? And it's not like he touched like an improper part. He just touched my head by mistake, by some things happen by
For
mistake.
sure.
Or like doing the crowded subway, like some people step on me, but I know it's not what's the word like on purpose,
Intentional.
you know what I mean? Cause due to the
Intentional.
situation. But I'm not gonna react rudely or you know what I mean? Some people are like that. So for me, it's just like, yo, man, like for me, it annoys me. Like people who are rude. It it just I mean, man, at that time, sitting down there and seeing what the girl did, I could understand why she was a little bit irritated because of course no one wants their head to be touched, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I was like, look at the situation. This man is
Yeah,
blind.
situation, yeah. Sure.
He's a Ajushi. You could have at least just like let him sit down or send him to seat. And then he was just walking, and she was just like, like, of course. And then the guy was walking around, and people were just like on their phones, not even just like dodging him and everything. And then there was this guy who just like, just like took him and gave him a seat to stand and asked him where he was going to and everything. And I was like, yeah, like that's what you would do. But at the same time, being genuine and being helpful and being polite does get you in trouble.
It can.
It has gotten me in trouble once because so I helped this Ajuma thinking she's mentally ill, but she was like, Odiga, Odiga. I was like, oh, where are you going? And then she's like, oh, Odiga, like because I thought because she's like an old woman, not knowing that this woman followed me for an hour because she was mentally ill, but I helped her. So, yes, helping and being genuine and being whatever it might get you into trouble, but okay, excuse me. But uh but to me, I just feel like it might get you into a situation, but it should never be a regret. That's one thing I learned. I used to regret being genuine. I used to regret like, why am I always talking a lot? Why can't I just be like this quiet, mysterious girls, like seeing the movies,
Mm,
like,
high school,
you
for
know,
sure.
yeah, in high school, those middle girls who are like vampires or stuff like that. Why can't I do that? Why can't I not be like that? Like Twilight, like, you
Mm,
know, I want to be that, but I'm
yeah.
too,
Or
my
like
mom,
for guys, oh, why am I a nice guy?
yeah,
Let me be a bad boy or
you know,
something. The bad
yeah,
boy
like
that
those bad
always
boy,
gets.
you know what I mean? The bad boy. What was the guy? Edward? Yeah, Team
Oh,
Edward.
I don't.
If you're a Team Edward, hey. If you're a Team Jacob, yeah. So, were you Team Jacob or Team Edward?
Jacob. for sure.
Wait, Jacob was the werewolf guy, right?
Yeah.
I was Team Jacob, and then I saw her and Edward. I was like, Team Edward. But I want to be like,
Anyway,
Edward,
I prefer werewolves, so I think that's like the main winner.
dude. Okay, look, I used to prefer when I was younger, but like, dude, vampires, they rich, they stay young,
You have a point there.
and they neat. You know what I mean? But werewolves, like werewolves are sexy, but like I'm like, yeah, man, y'all be I don't know, you guys give me the dog vibes, you know what I mean?
Have you
I
seen
don't
Teen
want
Wolf?
dude, Dylan, what's his name?
Dylan O'Brien?
No, Dylan O'Brien is yeah, Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah, from Maze Runner.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, I love that show. That
he
reminds
made
me, I
me
have to
go
go back to that.
bitter. I'm watching Vampire Diaries now. If you remember Vampire Diaries and the originals from like, way back,
Yeah, classic. Yeah.
Stephen, Damon, when I see, I see, vampires, they always
Nina
wearing, and they always
Dobrev.
wearing, they always wearing suits and they always live in this like old mansion house. I'm like, honey, you
Yeah.
can suck my blood as long as I get that money.
Oh my god. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, but vampires they got money. They live in a rich house. Werewolves don't live in houses. Where y'all live? In the
Houses,
forest or
yo.
something? No, y'all live in the forest.
All right.
And then you guys like woo, communicating with the
I mean,
animals. Yeah.
if you watch Teen Wolf, I mean,
I
most
mean,
of
but
them are
like
pretty handsome guys.
I know they have no. Werewolves sexy. Werewolf guys are sexy and handsome. But can you pay my bills? Can you
Yeah,
pay
I'm
it?
pretty sure they're rich too, because I'm pretty
I
sure they
mean
can
they're
afford.
rich, but like they rather live in like the forest. I
Yeah, to
can't
not
do that.
kill people.
Hell no, I wanna fly. Okay, I want to turn into a bat and fly. You know what I mean? I want to fly
Do you?
and then live in it and then come
I'm not
back
saying like I thought werewolves were
and
cool. I'm not sure if I would be a werewolf.
well, if you were to be a werewolf or a vampire, what would you be? Yeah, that is Xerona's random question for the day.
Oh, let's have that at the end though.
That would be at the end,
we'll
but
leave that
let's
to
get
end.
to that. Yeah, think about it. Think about it. Think about it. So yeah. Um. Okay. Last question. Have how do you? Okay, let's say you meet someone genuine, right? And you're also a genuine person. Can you teach someone to be genuine?
Ooh.
Is it something you teach someone, or is it something that the person adapts, or is it something that the person becomes like in your perspective, what do you think? Do you think you can teach someone to be genuine, or you know, it's just something that comes up, or something they realize, or something they're born with, or you know,
Um.
they gotta pray for you for Jesus to give you how to be genuine. So what do you think is it? It is.
Oh. I interestingly enough, I think there's only two things.
Mm.
You have that in you already. That you actually care about other people and actually have that sense of wanting to be around for other people. You have to have that already in some sense. It might not be a
Mm.
lot to where like you do it all the time, but you have that little sense of like, okay, I want to be around for either certain people or doing certain things. Like you have to have somewhat in you. And I think if you do have that a little bit, but let's say not show it, you
Mm.
can grow it. You can show it more. You can have it be something part of you later on. But to me, the most important thing is you have to have that sense of wanting to be that way, wanting to want that. I don't think you can not have it and be it. I don't think that's a thing just because like it comes off fake. It comes off as something that just doesn't feel right. Um, I've seen people trying like not being that way, not being someone genuine, just being like however they wanted to be, right? And later on wanted to change, but it never felt like they were happy
Mm,
about it or really wanting to be that. They were just kind of just trying to change because everyone found
forcing
out,
themselves to change.
yeah, yeah, kind of like forcing themselves or really like mm, trying to be something that they weren't. And I don't think that you can. I think you have to have it somewhere.
Mm,
Um, it can be a little, so where you can like grow it, you know? And I think that's possible. Like maybe you have that little sense of in you somewhere and you may not show it a lot or may not do it, but you have that sense of like always having it in your mind, that feeling that you have in your heart. You have to have it somewhere in you. Because if you don't, I don't think you can like change it and be it. I don't think you can.
mm,
Just because like it never felt that way to me. Like it always felt either someone trying to be fake and not actually who they are and just trying to be something that to please others or to be
mm,
viewed in a certain way.
mm.
But
True, true, true.
I think there's only those two senses for sure. And oh my gosh, if there's a lot of noises, it's because there's a lot of changes being made in the house, by the way.
Mm,
But nah, for sure. I think it has to be in you some way. Doesn't have to be a lot where it's shown, right? Like I said, like where you do it, but you always have that little sense in you, like, I want to be around for that person. I want to be nicer. I want to be something. You have to have that in you. If you don't, then
mm,
I don't think you can go into that because that's just not who you are and how you feel. To being
mm,
genuine, you have to have that small little thing. That's why it's so rare when you find someone genuine that actually is.
mm,
And when you do find it, you're like, damn, why couldn't I have met you sooner or like met more?
mm. Right, 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 right,
People
right.
always get that sense. Like you don't see a lot of people like that. I think being someone genuine makes you unique because it makes you in a different,
Excuse me. Yeah.
different light than a lot of people, you know. But I think,
Mm. So for you, it's like something you have.
yeah, yeah, you have to have it. I think. I don't think.
Mm,
I don't think you can really. I mean, maybe you can like become a little bit better in terms of being a better person and reaching out. But in terms
mm,
of feeling someone genuine and actually caring, I really do believe you have to have it. You have to have
mm,
that feeling of wanting to be that way, of wanting to be nice, wanting to be respectful, wanting to be someone around, someone to care. You have to have that. If you don't, then I don't know how you could grow into that,
mm,
or like what if you don't have it, or like change that.
mm.
I don't think you can, and not from like from my experience and um that could be hard
Excuse
to
me.
say, but I think it's true just because if you see, like, if you know people that are genuine, they're very few. So it's like
Mm,
it has to just be in you because not everyone's going to have it. So if you do have that sense, then there is a sense of wanting to be genuine in you. There might not be a lot of it right now, and you may not be showing it just because, like, you don't understand it yet. And you can be young, like in high school, and like those things don't really like come into your mind because
come on,
you
right.
don't really think about like future ahead or like thinking stuff like that. You're just day by day classes, meeting people, doing this. You'll have
Imagine,
a,
imagine.
but later on, you'll grow that sense of wanting to be like that more. You'll start to understand that more. So I think you always have to have it in some way. It's very small where you don't notice, but it's always there, and then it turns into something, or you have it in you since the beginning, and that's how you've always been. I've always kind of thought that way. Especially how
Mm,
you just, yeah, like I said, in life, when you meet someone genuine, you're like, man, that's a one out of like thousands that you meet, or one out of 100, or one out of 10 every now and then, maybe something like that. So it's very,
mm.
very few, I think, in my opinion. That's kind of how I look at it,
See it?
anyways. Yeah,
Mm. I think for me, as you say, you gotta have that little, you can improve it, but I don't think it's something excuse me, it's like 1 a.m. and I don't know why I'm getting old, man. But
You're saying that.
it, but as I said, it's not something you can, maybe when you're younger, you're taught that, but not everything you're taught that you do. So I feel like it depends on you have to have a little of that. You have to have like a basic knowledge of that. But yeah, I feel like it's something you have, you can improve, or even if you don't have it, you can try to, but it's not everyone that is going to be genuine. It's not everyone that is going to be. I just feel like it's some certain people that have that thing, and there are some people who are genuine to a certain level, maybe to a little level or a certain level. Not everyone is going to be 100% genuine. You have people who are 100% genuine. You have people who are 50% people. You have people who are 20, 10, even like 1% genuine, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like there's a certain amount of, if you don't have that, there's a certain amount of limit you can pass, being genuine. So I think in my case, I kind of agree with Brian too at the same time. And not being it there. Do you have any question, Brian? Do you have anything you want to say or ask or
But the topic.
but yeah, about a topic or about anything?
I was gonna maybe wanted to give us as an example. As time went
Mm,
on, were there things like when we first met, was
mm,
that you only started noticing like genuine like nowadays and stuff like that?
mm, mm.
You got to like for example, meet me. What was like the first thing that came to mind? And as time went on, what I think made you think that I could be that way, or if you do think I'm that way, or what things like that could you share that maybe, you know, that people can see or like think about? Because I think it's always important to have like a sense of
Mm.
those details and like experience that we have of like meeting each other that we were so new, and then like, you know, got to know each other well,
Excuse
so
me. Mm,
sharing our story in terms of that, because I think that's something valuable that we can
mm.
actually like tell people about. So that's my question I kind of ask you.
Actually, when we first met, I didn't really think about anything about it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh yeah, this this guy's in my class. What's up? He likes EXO. Dude, he likes anime. Like, I think that. But as we met and everything, I kind of understood like you were also so and then your Instagram post. Because I started to understand that you were someone who like you express yourself. I
Oh,
was
for
like,
sure.
this guy is kind of expressive. And for me, in my friend group, I'm always the one that is expressive. Because mostly because I was the young, because I always thought it's because I'm the youngest. That's why I'm more expressive, I would say. But when I saw you being expressive, even on your Instagram post, I was like, sometimes I want to do that, but people are like, if I do that, that's weird.
Yeah, people say that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And for me, I didn't think of it as weird. You know what I mean? Like at that time. So I think for me, as I said, I wasn't like first impression I would know, but as time went on, when I found out you were expressive and I would say when I found out that you're very expressive, that's when I was like, okay, this guy's a little bit genuine. That was one key thing that, and it wasn't like fake expressive because some people are really good at faking and people are really acting, but for me, it just felt like it was real. Even like any topic, I felt like I could talk to you with any. We've talked about stupid topics,
Yeah.
very stupid topics. We've talked if we, like I would, and because I come up with the most random thing, and he will actually give me a genuine answer. Or sometimes he'll
Always.
just express it with his face. Like if I talk about something, if I say something stupid, he'll be like,
Oh, for sure. I'm very expressive in that way, for sure.
You know what I mean? He doesn't even sing. He's like,
Yeah, I'm
you
like,
know, you're like, he's like, it's not even like, like, sometimes he doesn't even talk. He just like, or sometimes he just keeps silence. And that makes me even sound dumber. I hate when he's silent. Because I'm like, yo, man, Brian, what do you think about like, I was thinking, okay, I remember that time I was thinking about making different type of juices.
oh yeah.
What I was like, it was like kimchi juice and this. I wanted to make, what did I want to make again? I wanted to make some juice though.
It was some weird stuff, I remember.
I wanted to make crab juice.
Yeah.
And then he was just like,
Yeah, I
and
would
I'll be
just sit there and
saying
be like,
a bunch of things. And he'll just be like,
"Hmm,
and then I'll just be like,
wow, you
so
can copy me really well. I do that. Hmm.
yeah. He'll be like, huh? Or sometimes the one that he's like,
Yeah. Oh, you got me really good. Yeah, I
right?
do that.
When he does that, I'm like, I'm like,
Oh, snap.
but at the same time, I'm like, okay, wait, before I slap him, maybe he is right, like that kind of thing. So I
100%.
think, so I think your expression of being expressive was what made me feel like you were genuine. But to be honest, I'm still growing. So I don't really know if someone is genuine from the first time. But when I start to notice how expressive they are with someone tells me, hey Xerona, like they have friends, if friends tell me what I'm doing is wrong, or they tell me, hey Xerona, I don't feel like this is, you know what I mean? When someone
For
tells me
sure.
something straight up,
For sure.
I'm like, okay, I kind of respect them and I want to be closer to them. Like I have a friend, all she does is diss me, man. Not like bad diss, but she's like, hey Xerona, you're talking too much. If you talk to, like, you know what I mean? Like kind of sets me straight
Mm,
because she's older than me, right? Um, when I mean diss me, but it's just like she tells me some things I'm not meant to do, or like for example, I had lipstick on my teeth and no one told me. She told me. I was like, yeah, man, I've talked to like 500 people. No one would say he's never got to. No one said that. No one said that. But someone who's not really afraid to kind of say something to me, like whether it's good or bad, you
mm,
know, or advise me. She's like, hey, look, I understand you're still young. I understand this is still, you know what I mean? So I feel like when someone is expressive and someone tells you your point of view, like not afraid to tell you what's wrong. I mean, not every single thing they tell you is wrong, you know what I mean? But like kind of like helps you set you straight or be honest with you. I think that's being sincere, like sincere and genuine. So for me, I that's how I figure it out.
for sure.
What about you, man? How did you know I was like very genuine? Like, how did you like, oh my God, this girl is like authentically 100% genuine when you saw me,
Um,
right? Like, my
yeah.
beauty was, right?
Oh, there's my
Yeah.
face. I just did it. You copied it perfectly, by the way. You just saw it, guys. By the way, you just saw it literally.
So,
But,
so are you trying to say that I'm
huh?
ugly? Are you trying to say I'm ugly or something?
Didn't you just earlier say my face was like?
But I said example.
But yeah, but then you were like, was I? Is it? Is it? That's literally what you said right after. But no, I'm just joking, obviously. But um, hmm, mm, when we met, yeah, like kind of like you, mm, didn't notice it just because like we didn't have that like conversations or anything like serious in class, so nothing really like
Mm,
really came up to the point of like, okay,
mm,
that is someone that's speaking their mind. Um, as time went on, talked a little bit more and more, interacting in class, and then I think when it really hit was, like I said, when we had that walk and
mm,
we were able to share things, your story about Korea and yourself a little bit. That's when I was like, okay, this is someone. Immediately when you hear them, they're speaking from like the heart, for sure. That's the first thing like I noticed right away, of like you put feeling into exactly the how you felt, the how you were
mm.
thinking everything. And that's when I was like, okay, this is someone that like when they speak actually means what they say and like care about what they say. So I think that's when I was like, okay, this is someone I can probably be friends with, like someone that actually cares about being themselves, no matter like
Mm,
what. So I think then time went on. In class we would interact, but then after class we would always like chat or something, like say something before like leaving, and
mm,
obviously being like living close to each other. Boom, it was just easy, just walking and just talking. So as time went on, got to know you a little bit better, and that's when I was like, okay, this is someone that I can definitely like become
excuse
friends
me.
with, actually, listen to. And again, then we started doing like dinners with Kiana. We started going doing that, and then that's when I was like, all right, this person is quite interesting and unique in many ways. And this one has started changing just because like this is when you started becoming way more. Um, I felt like yourself in terms of. I think you were always yourself, but this is when it really like, all right, I am full time Xerona all the time. Like Brian's already like been around me, but this is where like
Mhm.
Brian, you're gonna see like things that you may not want to see. This is when you started joking around like the karaoke and doing all these things. Like you don't want to see me like in those situations and wanted to like do that, right? But then we went to karaoke, it was freaking awesome. And then we did freaking a bunch of things. But this is when like you started like making the jokes that you say now, 7-Eleven or see you, and this is when you started making all these like jokes and it started like picking up way more. And this was like, all right, she's in her what people say here in their bag means like they're like who they are, like showing exactly who they are. So that's when I knew like, all right, Zerona is definitely not afraid to show exactly how she feels, how she thinks, how she reacts. Like she is just gonna be her around me at all times. And as a person, I appreciate that just because I I'm a type of person that wants you to be you. I don't want you to
Mm,
change to be happy to make me feel better in a certain situation or to do something that like me, you may not like or something like that. I don't want that. I want you to just be yourself. If you're someone open, loud, enjoyable, be that. Because if that makes you happy, then that's gonna make me happy. I'm that kind of person. If you're enjoying yourself, doing well, doing things, then I'm gonna be well, happy and excited because that's I kind of feed off energy. I think that's why we're E's a little too. We feed off energy.
mm.
But interestingly enough, I think both of us also have that sense of we have a little I in us in terms of like we can be quiet and like be good listeners and hear people out and like have that good sense. So I think we can definitely be, like check with the trades in terms of having both sides. But that's when I was like, yeah, like Zerona's her. She's just genuine. Like there's no way that someone can like meet her and be like, yo, she is fake or something like that. Like she's exactly how she is all the time. Like no
Yeah.
matter what. Like literally, like it could be right now what she said, like 1 a.m. in the morning, or it could be like 6 a.m. in the morning. She's gonna be exactly her. And that's something I appreciate so much. Like for sure. Like definitely want to thank you, obviously, uh, becoming a great friend, becoming a co-host for me in the podcast. Obviously, someone uh, respect because not a lot of people are like willing to talk and willing to say how they feel and things like that. So when you find someone like that, it's, like really awesome. Like I'm gonna say, like she's become definitely someone very precious in terms of a friend. Oh my gosh, and then she's definitely genuine for sure. Like knowing her, everyone that knows her can definitely say that. So I'm not gonna give her too many compliments because we'll get her over there. But but yeah, she's awesome, like for sure. If you like, I'm pretty sure all of you that are listening and know her can definitely say the same thing. That's the main things that you say about her. So um, that's kind of how I felt. And obviously, as time went on, the first time didn't wasn't sure, but then as time went on, I was like, yeah, she's genuine. You can just hear it, feel it, You can see it on her face how she expresses. But yeah, that's it for that for sure.
Oh, oh, gracias, gracias, gracias. Oh, you make me go poco loco.
Oh,
Oh, loco. Oh. Thank you, Brian. Thank. I wasn't expecting that compliment, but it's true. Uh,
damn.
I'm not even trying to be humble about it. But yeah, thank you for it. Even Brian too. Like when I noticed, even with Kiana, like usually when I become, especially when we're karaoke, I was like, okay, if I go karaoke with this boy, it's probably not gonna talk to me in class anymore. It's probably gonna run away. Because we were singing like
Oh,
Jennifer Hudson,
yeah.
we were singing Whitney
All
Houston.
right,
I think we
Carrie.
sang Mariah Carey.
Hmm?
Now
Yeah.
imagine, no, imagine someone, right, who um has a multiple singing Mariah Carey's song to the highest. So you have a multiple, right? Multiple, and then it's really hard, right? And they're trying to stretch it. And then someone is singing Mariah Carey and Jennifer Hudson. That's how we sang. It was so bad that the karaoke manager's dog was afraid. And the dog was big. The dog was a big guy. Like those guard dogs, like those ones that, yeah, that was the dog. The dogs that, people in the police use.
Yeah.
The guy heard our voice. The guy was scared. Okay, I could see that dog wanted to run. That was how powerful, how blessingly our voice is, man. I feel like our our karaoke can, like, if they played it for like criminals, they would definitely surrender.
Whoa. Whoa. Jeez.
They're like, hell nah, man, I want to go to prison and hear this.
Damn.
That was that. But it was enjoyable. It was very enjoyable. And also what I noticed Brian was that, yeah, as I said, his Instagram post, like for me, it was just like, so this someone actually does it because I hardly see people post things about their Instagram, you know what I mean? But when he does it, I'm like, that's really like kind of made me like, so that's not weird because I always thought I was weird. But like when I saw him, he was kind of like let's say role model, but someone like, I really do admire the way he does, like, expresses his feeling out. And sometimes also I do admire, like, Brian doesn't, he talk, but he doesn't talk much. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, as much as me,
People say that.
if you
Yeah.
notice. But like I did admire the way that he knew how to talk and how not to talk. And I
Mhm.
think that's what kind of attracted Brian. So because Brian had a lot of girls and close to him. Not girls, but like yeah, you had like a lot of guy girl, like we remember like
Well,
you're like the only guy
interestingly enough, I don't know why, but it turned out that way. Like in Korea, I knew a lot of
yeah,
friends, but most
Karen,
of them were girls.
Nico,
That's
Musgari,
why
like yeah,
I really appreciated Jejun and Brett so much, just because like they were literally the only guy friends I like made, and I had
like
no
all
clue
of like a
why.
lot. He had
It's
a
really
lot of like
easier to
we were.
make guy friends than girl that are friends, and like
He didn't have
it's
a
super
lot of
weird for
guy
me.
friends. He mainly had like friend girls, and
Yeah,
like
it's just
we
weird.
would stay. You remember that it was like Nicole's last day, right? And we would stay up until like Sunday, but like midnight, 1 a.m., 2 p.m., 2 a.m. When it was Nicole's last day, we did the
Oh
darts
yeah, yeah,
challenge.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And then you see like five girls and one boy.
yeah.
That was mostly us, like in the midnight in Conde. Like that was mostly how it was with Brian. Because people, especially girls, we kind of like people who like they know how to listen, but they're also
Mhm.
genuine and like they listen, they're also genuine and they know how to talk and they know how
Mhm.
to like express. Because one thing I hate is that a girl can come. I don't know if this is no, it's not for everybody, but a girl will come and tell you, this is why I'm angry, this is why I'm angry, this is why I'm angry, that kind of thing. And then I'll ask a boy, and they'll be like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? How, if you don't know, how am I meant to know? You know what I mean? You don't really see a lot of guys that are like that. Some boys are really afraid of expressing themselves
For sure.
or kind of like sharing an authentic thing because they see that as a side of weakness. But for
Yeah.
Brian, it was a little bit different. So I think that's why me and like the other girls were kind of close to Brian because it was more of like he's like someone that would listen to you, someone that would like give you his real answer. You know what I mean? So that's more of he was like a what's the word? A stepping stone to like a right character kind of thing.
Ooh. Even though
So
I'm not,
that's what
I like it, but I'm not sure if I like it because you're just calling me like a step before the actual, like a step before the actual.
you're not Martin Luther King yet, okay? I said
Oh,
I
that's
said
what
a
you're saying.
stepping
Okay, okay.
stone.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're step
Well,
one.
obviously, like I take that praise, but I don't think I'm like even close to anything like that. Uh, mm, like evaluating yourself is kind of interesting because it's always like kind of weird to say like, oh yeah, I'm
Mm,
this way, I'm that way. But if
mm,
I look at myself really like thoroughly, I think that those things that you said are things that I've always uh, thought about in terms of wanting to be that way, in terms of,
mm,
like I told you, becoming a good listener, someone that can pay attention to words and actually see meaning behind them in terms of how someone can actually be feeling or thinking.
mm,
And I do hear that a lot of like people will tell me like when they see me, oh, you don't seem like you talk much or you don't talk much or whatever. And like I would say that's true at the beginning. Like I've always been someone more quiet and reserved maybe when they first see me, but as time goes on, I tend to be more expressive in how I think and I share
mm,
more and like talk more. So I think that's definitely like true for sure. Someone who gets to know me, like, oh, you're quiet, but then when we really become friends, like I really open up and really like enjoy having good conversations, talking. Like I enjoy doing that. Like it's fun. So I think that's very true also. And then obviously you said saying the right things to say. I've heard that at times too. Like some people have told me like, oh, you speak so well in certain situations, or you give off certain
mm,
like reactions really well in terms of like somebody can ask me a question or ask me for an opinion or something like that, and they
mm,
tend to be like, "Oh, you actually like gave it thought and really like expressed it well and really made me think about it and was actually like very like helpful for me." And
right.
the thing I really find interesting in that is like I never really tried to be like that or have that
Mm,
in my mindset. I don't know what it is
mm,
with me, but I've always been like someone to like overthink things, an overthinker in terms of like always different possibilities or always things I could have done better before or things like that. I always have that things in my mind, you know? So like I'm usually constantly thinking. So whenever I'm hearing conversations, I always have things coming up in my mind like, oh, if they ask me this, I can maybe think of that. Or they're feeling this way. Have I felt that way before? Maybe I can give them some sense of like maybe how I felt there or like either from my experience or like thinking about how to make them feel better. I always have those things in mind already. So I think that's part of like that reason. Like I always think about and make sure like what I say can help someone. That's the main thing that
mm,
like really I think about it. And so like if people say that about me, I appreciate it a lot, but it's not something like that I like try to do. It's just like how I am. Um, I enjoy someone that can really just be of help either just really either by giving them good conversation in terms of help or it's just like
mm,
we're just having a good conversation and I can be either someone that's a little bit knowledgeable or someone that can express well. Like I always kind of keep that in mind, so it's never something I intend to be or something. I hope things like people see me as like Brian is always Brian. Like always the
Mm,
same kind of person. Like he never changes. He always just gonna be
mm,
himself, and he's just like genuine of who he is. Like he knows how he is, how he
mm,
feels, things like that. So I hope at the end of the day people can see that. And obviously, with things like that,
mm,
always wanted to be known as someone kind, genuine, respectful, someone that pays attention. Those things matter to me. Those are things that I want to be known for later. I'm not like weird
mm,
other things that people can call you. Like I've never been interested in being like, uh, oh, someone famous or someone super rich
right,
or
right,
someone
right,
super like.
right.
I don't care about any of this stuff. I want to be
True.
known as someone that was there for people when they needed him.
They needed it. Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right, right.
needed
I
it or
think we
needed
shared that.
him for sure. Like that's valuable to me. That's
Right,
what
right,
means
right.
everything to me. So, but yeah, it's going back. It's kind of interesting that I was around girls a lot, but I think it's because from thinking about it, most of like classes and things like that, it's like you said, there was always a groups of people from countries, and most of the guys were already in groups of their own, like nations and things like that.
Mm,
So it was like really hard for me to like get into people, and like the people that I did try sometimes to like talk with, um, I already shared stories of like them backing off and like not wanting to be friends and such. Like many times
mm,
happened to more guys than girls actually, and
mm,
I don't know why, but that I think that's really why I really express my gratitude to Jeju, especially giving me that chance to become a friend, someone I respect so much, especially from that country that can help me out so much. And then Brett,
mm,
those I think that's why I really appreciate them a lot. Like really thank them for like everything for sure, because they were literally the only like two guy friends. Everyone else ended up being girls, but um, good people, like I said. And I think another thing is all the girls were all kind of friends with each other already in some ways. Like, so it was just easy to make them friends just because like everyone was friends already in a form of manner. Like, um, Maya, Nicole, Prom, like they became friends, but then as a group built up, people already
mm,
knew the other people that ended up becoming friends. Added
mm,
you, and
mm, mm, mm,
because I knew you, Kiana became a friend, and then because of this, I knew
mm.
Natalie and Kira from like university, but they're friends. So they knew you also from a different class, and everyone knew kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
right,
you go
right,
from
right.
there. So sure, like I was around more girls, but at the end of the day, friends are just friends. So good, whether
It
they're
was a
girls or guys,
blessing.
like just good people. Blessing. I
It was a
don't
blessing.
know about that. I'm just kidding. Definitely, for sure. I mean, come on. I appreciate every single one of them for sure. Made Korea definitely a really, really awesome time. Oh, and to share about to piggy all the way back to that thing about the Korea. So my plan is to go. Um,
Mm,
I definitely want to go like right after I finish graduation. Just order cap and gown things today, so cool. So I'll definitely want to share that when that time comes in May. But yeah, it'll be May when I'm planning to go to Korea. The thing that I kind of wanted to share, maybe I'm not sure about it yet, but is I was decided to like go there and like stay for the rest of the year, like for the until December. But I'm currently not sure if I'll be staying there until December. I might just do like a shorter trip in terms of
mm,
like a couple weeks or just a few months, maybe even less than that. Just because I'm not overall sure if that's like the decision I kind of want to make yet. But I
mm,
do want to go and like spend time just because I want to see everyone again. But I also want to take the
mm.
time to like travel. I want to do that
True,
because I don't
true,
think I
true, true,
really
true,
did
true.
that much when I was like there, obviously for the university and things like that.
Mm,
So I think it would be nice to go and be able to travel around, hopefully with friends and do things I wasn't able to do when I was there before. So that's the main
mm,
thing. But as of right now, I'm not sure that's the actual decision, but
the
that's like
suggestion.
update, I think I would say for sure.
We're just I'm just waiting for you because I got a list of things you gotta bring for me. That's why I need some Bath and Body Works. I need some Victoria's Secret. I need
You
some
didn't even
Old
see
Navy.
things.
I need some I need some Old Navy things because my jeans, dude, my Old Navy jeans, I've had them for 7 years, man.
Mm.
This is not a paid sponsor, but Old Navy jeans good. I
Sponsor
need
us
Old
later
Navy
on,
jeans.
Omi.
I
Yeah, that'd
need
be
Old
cool,
Navy
wouldn't it?
jeans.
Be sponsored. You get them
I need
free.
Old Navy. Be here. Okay. All encompassing, all wait, but all no. We have changed our name to all Navy. We'll think of a good name. We'll think of a good think of a good name.
I don't
But
know about
yeah,
that.
Old Navy, man.
I don't know about that one.
Marshalls, TJ,
It'd be really cool.
Marshalls, TJ
Or
Maxx,
sports,
or sports,
or coffee
or
brand.
anything, man.
Yeah,
Wait, do
sponsor
you
us,
remember
yeah.
the shoe? Do you know the shoe brand that girls usually go to?
Girls?
Yeah, I mean boys go there, but like mostly girls. Like they have like sales and clearance. It's in the States.
And start with a P?
There's Nostrum and there's another
Uh,
one. It's always next to Nostrum.
Is it Payless? No, no. Nostrum.
There's Dillard's, there's Nostrum, and shoe. There's a shoe store. Damn right.
Sure.
They
There's
have like
many.
I know, but it's not famous footwear or whatever. It was just like uh,
Payless is the one that comes to mind because that's really
no
always on.
Payless. Yeah, Payless was not because Payless got my size. Because I got big feet. So Payless was also definitely I forgot was it Dillard? No, it wasn't Dillard.
Oh,
I think
Dylan?
it was Nordstrom.
No, but
Probably it
Dylan's
was
is like an
Nordstrom.
overall, not just shoes.
Yeah, it was like you don't know. I can't I will maybe it was Nordstrom. I think it was Nordstrom, but yeah, I
Maybe.
used to
I
miss
think so.
going that place and they had clearance and I used to get heels, and get like long, nice heels. Those things still last me. I've had those heels for 10 years.
Oh,
So definitely Brian is gonna have a suitcase of things for me. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we've talked kind of a lot. So just briefly,
that
if you were to become a vampire or a werewolf, which and one reason why, just one reason.
I'm still stuck on what? I don't know.
But
Teen
if
Wolf
you were
makes me
just
want to choose werewolf, but then thinking about like what you said, like rich, good pale skin at times, like sometimes it looks quite nice. And
I'm definitely team vampire, man.
then
Like I would date a werewolf, but I would marry a vampire. Because like if I marry a
damn.
vampire, I'm gonna live forever and then no one will know me and I can work in the night because I don't want to be like, sunburned or whatever. And werewolves and like vampires, they hardly get like injured, but werewolf, you guys are always like running in the forest and doing wild shit and then you guys get
Doing
injured.
wild shit. Oh,
You guys eating stuff, ew, like hell nah. But like a vampire, we can drink blood in a wine glass.
that's true.
Definitely.
Damn, I don't know.
Vampires are more classy. I like classy things, so that's why.
Can I do a cop out?
Yeah, if you wanna.
I was I'll be born from I don't know, vampire dad or vampire mom and a werewolf dad or something.
There'll be a
Maybe both.
hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still got werewolf in you.
I'll be cool though. 'Cause I'll be both sexy, but also like, like rich, charismatic. Also be like, yo, you don't want to mess with me. I'll tear you up. That's the werewolf. Think about it.
it
I don't
applies
know.
to some.
But if I had to choose,
Yeah.
if I had to choose,
Mm, vampire werewolf.
it's because I really like Teen Wolf a lot. I think I'll say Werewolf, to be honest. I really like that show. And I think it'd just be kind of cool in a lot of sense of like, because I think this may not even be like a true statement, and this might be totally ridiculous from you guys. It might be even
Mm.
funny, but I think my character leans more personally, leans more vampire than werewolf. So I think I'll choose werewolf in terms of like quiet or like paying attention in terms of like this interesting demeanor. I think I'm lean. I'm not saying I am like a vampire, but I lean more that way than a werewolf. And I think I would want to choose a werewolf just because it would be kind of interesting, just to be like totally different, just be like wild and uh, like no one can control me. I'm the beast or what do they say? It's a werewolf. But I think that'll be kind of interesting. By the way, so I think I'll choose werewolf. But and I don't know, it's just cool. This is really cool with a werewolf. It's really cool. Have the moon there and stuff. And I think, to be honest, if I'm a werewolf, I think vampires have no chance against me. I'm just saying.
You
No
trying to
chance.
start war? I know people.
Taking them
Okay,
out.
don't make me. Me and Dracula, we got connections. Okay,
All right.
you know, you know. But see, yeah, but I would just date a vampire. I'll just be a vampire because they're rich. Nothing just more about it, but just because they're richer.
Oh, but if you ask me, I'll date a vampire over a werewolf. Sure.
I'll date a werewolf,
Huh?
but
Oh,
I'll date a
but you're a guy. Yeah, dating a
but
guy.
wait, what?
You like
Oh yeah,
it's different because
dating
your perspective of dating a guy, while me,
of course,
I
yeah,
would think
dating a
about
dad.
vampire girl. Then
Oh no, I'm dating a dad. Oh,
interesting.
I
I'll date a
don't mind
vampire
him
girl.
being my side dog. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Not
damn.
side chick. No, he's a side dog.
He's a side chick? Oh, dang.
No, dude, he's not a chick. He's a side dog
He's a
or
side
canine.
dog.
Side canine.
That's hilarious. That is really hilarious.
Yeah, but that's just it.
That's an interesting
Any
question.
question?
Oh,
That
let us
is.
know. Leave a
Let us
comment.
know which one you would be
Yeah,
and why.
for sure.
You can only be no hybrids, okay? You just gotta choose one, either a vampire or a werewolf. And you can just let us know which one. This is just a fun, it's not pressure, but we
Yeah,
just want to see how it is. And you can just express yourself, be funny. And
yeah,
if you don't mind, we could also even talk about it in a podcast. So
for
yeah,
sure.
let us
We'll
know
definitely
which
share
one.
it. See how awesome
Yeah,
you feel
definitely
with
share it.
interaction.
If it's because, and or you can vote, like who's like, will you
Oh,
be Xerona and be, vampire because you want to be rich? You know what I mean? Vampires, they're rich, you know what I mean? Or do you want to be a werewolf like Brian and be eating
yo,
like,
show more love, man, for the werewolf.
and eat
You said
like,
you would date one, so at least show some appreciation.
expired meat? Ew. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that.
Inspired
Oh, we
me, but
don't
the
eat.
blood is all right.
Yeah, because dude, imagine you sucking the blood of like a rich person. Rich people blood different. I think. I don't know.
Rich people blood different. Damn,
I
where are
mean,
we going
because
in
there
this?
was. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like because it's like wine. You know what I mean? Like blood kind of like. I don't like the yeah. Actually, I don't like blood. Anything bloody, like I don't like it. But it can look like wine. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel sick. Eh. But let us know what you think, and let's see. Anything you want to say, Brian, before we connect?
Mm, let me think. Um, there was one commenter from a previous video, I think our last video.
Mm,
Don't
mm,
remember the exact name, but they said like, "Oh, enjoy the podcast." Thank you so much. Appreciate those kind of words.
love you.
Appreciate everyone watching. Obviously, means a lot to us. Obviously, anyone that just enjoys this, small time that we have to interesting conversations, topics, that means a lot to us. So we definitely appreciate you. Obviously, Xerona in a bit will, I'll say, tell you everything you need to do if you want to catch us more, for sure. But overall, super awesome topic. Xerona came up with it on her own, and I think it was super good because I think people needed to hear that, and I think it's nice to have around, So I think that's awesome. And then, oh, one small thing about the sharing, uh, sharing about like being emotions or things like that. Well,
Mm,
for me at least, it's always been important to do that because before I used to keep things a lot to myself, and that used to like really, at the end of the day, bother me, and it really made me, before like working things like that, it like really
mm,
stressed me out and things like that. So it was just not good for me. So I decided to share more of like how I feel because I think
excuse
not a lot of people do, and it's nice to be able to do that. And people may find it weird because I do get those comments like, "Oh, that's weird," or
mm,
people reach out to my family like, "Oh, is Brian okay? Like, is he depressed or something?"
mm,
Like, no, I'm just sharing exactly how I feel in that certain moment. Like, I don't think that's bad. So wish people would do that more often. So I think it, if you want to do that, don't be afraid of doing it. Do it. Like,
mm.
be more expressive. It's fine. Like, it's okay to feel certain ways at times. We all do. So I think that's the main last thing I kind of wanted to say is just, yeah, don't be afraid of those things. Just do it.
Don't
If
hold
you
it in, man.
yeah, yeah, don't hold it in for sure. It really like piles up and it just makes you feel terrible later on. Like you don't have to share it, but at least have a way of expressing it differently.
Mm, mm,
Um,
mm,
Like
mm.
just don't keep
And
it
in a
in.
non-violent way.
Oh yeah, for sure, 1,000%. Like
Non-violent way.
do it in a way that's positive for sure.
True. True, true, true,
So
true.
that's definitely the last thing I wanted to share. So I'll leave the rest to you to run for the end.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Brian. I apologize for yawning all the time. Kind of a little bit tired today, but I hope you guys enjoyed our podcast. I hope you guys maybe learned something from it or got something from it. I don't know. But we do appreciate you guys' time and effort or even listening to us or pretending to listening to us. And as we said, we just do this we do it for fun, but also to like, as we said, not just for money or just to be famous, but just to let people understand like, hey, I'm going through this shit and you helped me. So it's more of like from a honest heart, from an authentic and genuine and sincere like giving. It's like we want to like give you this as a present, like let's say like a present to our viewers or people who are about to listen to us to understand like, hey, you know, we can maybe try and relate to your shit, or we're maybe if you're feeling, especially people who are starting university, I just finished university. Brian is in his master, so he has more experience. So we just want to use this as a medium of like, let's say, giving you a gift of you're not alone kind
For
of
sure.
thing. So that's what it is. And also don't forget, let us know if you want to be a werewolf or a vampire. And thank you so much, Brian, for taking your time and actually being here. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe, comment, please. You can say anything. You can tell us what you like. You can even tell us what you don't. You can be like, hey,
For sure.
Xerona, or hey, Brian. Just tell us what we can do to improve our podcast.
For sure.
Everything is okay. We will not take it personal. And don't be afraid. to say anything. And don't forget to like. Just like it. Just tap it. Just like it.
Like
Share it.
share it.
Share
Yeah,
it.
share with your friends for
Share it.
sure. Family members. Ooh, it's always
If your
good to
friend don't
share.
understand English, it's okay. Our facial expression isn't, you know, we communicate through the world. Share it, comment, like, and you can just subscribe if you want, if you really like our podcast. So, as I said, I really appreciate everyone. I appreciate Brian for it. And this is the end of our podcast. So, this is your host, Xerona with an X, and
Brian with a B.
yeah, our bad B.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed I said that. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So yeah, so see you guys. Don't forget like, comment, subscribe.
See you guys.
Bye. 7-Eleven.